Good afternoon, friends. Meteorologist Delaney Willis here with an update on some storms headed through the area. Today, we're still seeing several severe warned thunderstorms that are in the area. So let's break down a few of these warnings. And one thing I do also want to point out is we have a lot of lightning occurring with some of these cells, this line in particular that is moving through the area. Now, right now, Carroll County, your warning did just expire, but we still have a little cell, a little rumbler right there that is showing a few lightning strikes and no doubt heavy rainfall. We do have another warning here into Patrick as well as Henry and part of Franklin County for this line right here, of course, bringing heavy rainfall, damaging wind gusts, and hail that's associated with this. Let's just go ahead and put on the hail layer for this radar site and see what we have here in terms of the hour hail history. I'll turn off the lightning layer so we can get a better look at this. Now, you'll notice areas, we'll just go between these two, where we're seeing these heavier bands of rainfall, those little purples showing up there. That is where the hail cores coincide with these storms. So right now, into portions of Patrick and Franklin counties, we do have that severe warned storm, and the hail that's associated with that is around that half-inch size. Now, for portions of Henry, Franklin, as well as Pennsylvania, we do have this other warning right here with hail that's a little bit larger in diameter. What you'll see right now, this hail layer, radar indicated, of course, this is nothing that has been at least observed on the ground. However, radar indicated from our computer system picking up that this hail could potentially be up to 1.5 inch in diameter, and the secondary one in Pennsylvania, 1 inch hail as well. So all of these cells moving through, and I'll go ahead and pop this lightning layer back on so you can get a better look of the significant lightning that is now in Franklin as well as Henry counties, and even more so in Pennsylvania County. This cluster of just lightning strikes right now. If you are in any of these counties that I just named and you are outdoors right now, please get inside, get to a shelter, because not only do we have very, very frequent lightning, we have heavy rainfall and, of course, the hail that is associated with these storms. A few more warnings in place at this time, of course, for Pennsylvania County as well as Halifax. Those expire at 5:30. These expire at 5:15 here into Henry, Patrick, and Franklin. This other portion of Franklin into Henry right here, you'll notice those expire at 5:30 as well. So we have this large swath of warnings that is covering this system right here. And one other warning that is now in effect for Prince Edward and Buckingham County that has now moved out of our viewing area. But we do have a rumbler that is now moving just north of Farmville with a lot of lightning there as well. So this system is moving very, very quickly. These storms moving along about 55 miles an hour. So moving along at a pretty good clip. But also worth looking at is our storm relative velocity, which shows the storm motion, the direction of the storm winds. And if we have any rotation, this would be an indicator that we could have some tornadic development within these storms. And right now, we are not seeing a lot of rotation within a few of these cells. It's looking pretty good. Now, we are watching this one right now, and that is right now within Martinsville City. These two reds and greens bumping up against each other. This is going to be worth watching. This is the only thing that we're seeing in terms of rotation, storm relative velocity and storm rotation that would be worth watching again. And that is in that severe warned storm in Henry County right now. Now, the National Weather Service also, if you ever are a weather nerd like myself, if you read through these warnings in the entirety, you'll notice at the bottom, there's actually something very interesting, and I'm actually going to go ahead and pull up the warning that was just issued for portions of Martinsville, Henry, this particular storm right here that we are checking in on that rotation. And at the very, very bottom, there is a list, and I'm not sure if you can actually see at the very bottom, the list right there. This tags the warning with a few different things. So this is tagging the warning with a damage threat. So it first has a damage threat. Thunderstorm damage threat is considerable with this storm. Hail threat is radar indicated with the maximum hail size of up to 1 inch diameter. Wind threat is radar indicated with wind gusts up to 70 miles an hour. Now, what is not listed in this warning, which is just as important as what is listed, we do not have any sort of tornado possible tag on the bottom of this warning. They will often put that in some storms that are showing some rotation that they are watching very closely for potential tornado warning to be issued. That has not been the case with this particular warning, where we were just taking a peek at that potential rotation. Again, it is still very, very broad into parts of Henry County and Martinsville. Worth watching, but broad at this point. So that is good news. And that's really the only place that we are watching out for across the viewing area. You'll notice there's no other points that are really popping out with those reds and greens up next to each other. Good news. And the shear markers and the 1 hour shear markers, of course, if we turn on that 1 hour history, there is a whole lot. But currently, still seeing a few blips there where we're looking at that rotation. But besides that, we are looking pretty good, especially for these large swaths of rain that are showing up into the Roanoke Valley NRV as well right here. This massive rainfall, which is also very, very good news. So as of now, we do have a few more of these warnings that are running through 5:15 or 5:30, bringing, of course, those damaging wind gusts and hail and a lot of lightning with this system. So I go ahead and pop off that lightning layer so we can get a better picture of where those heavier bands of rainfall. And this right now mostly across south side. Even portions of the NRV are totally dry at this point. But for farther north portions of the NRV, as well as Roanoke Valley, Highland Zone, and part of the Lynchburg Zone, right now, just seeing heavier bands of rainfall. And that is the same story for central Virginia as well, as this line continues to march further east. So all good news on that front, and we are going to continue to keep an update just to make sure none of these storms start to see a few more of those characteristics of what we're looking at for potential rotation. But right now, we do have a severe thunderstorm watch for what is the majority of our area. Now, Highland Zone's not included in this, but the rest of us, this does run through 11 o'clock this evening for portions that are east of Roanoke. That does include south side, a few of those, again, those severe thunderstorm watch until 11. NRV, that does expire at 6 o'clock. So NRV only has just a couple more hours, an hour and a half-ish for that severe thunderstorm watch. Rest of us, about 11 p.m., and, of course, where you're seeing those highlighted boxes in orange where there are active severe thunderstorm warnings at this time. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is leave you with a picture of our current radar imagery that we are looking at. Still a lot of lightning, a few of these stronger storms moving through, but the good news that we have been watching closely for. Although we are still keeping a very close eye on the hail threat, heavy rainfall, and the wind damage, because there likely will be some power outages because of this. Right now, no rotation in the atmosphere, barring that one cell. We're keeping an eye on there in Henry County. Rest of us, all clear and good, just seeing the heavy rainfall, the gusty winds, and the hail. We will continue to keep you updated on air and online as these storms continue to march through, and we do have that secondary line headed for us about midnight